Yeah, I think I could have pitched deeper into the game if I gave up hits. Just the walks lead to shorter outings, and I would rather prefer take the days when I get hit a little bit, but still be efficient, rather than walking and just not being able to pitch deeper into the game.
Shohei Ohtani threw 6 hitless innings against the Rockies on Wednesday night. He struck out 7 batters. He hit a leadoff home run. He earned the win and helped his team sweep the series. Most pitchers would be popping champagne tonight. Shohei was on the mound, cursing himself out so loud that the field microphones picked up every single word. Drop a comment below. Would you be mad at yourself after a night like that? Or would you be celebrating chances to him? Wednesday should have been the kind of game you frame on your wall and never forget. He stepped to the plate as the leadoff hitter, took 3 pitches from his good friend Tomoyuki Sugano, and hammered the third one into the netting above the batter's eye in dead center field. Solo home run. Just like that, Shohei put the Dodgers up 1-0 before the Rockies even had a chance to bat. The crowd at Dodger Stadium went absolutely nuts. Then he walked back to the dugout, grabbed his glove, and headed out to the mound for the top of the first. He threw a clean inning, then another, then another.
3 pitches, 3 strikes. Strike 3. Strike 3. Got him. Strike 3. Strike 3. In the air to right. Here comes call. 6 no-hit innings.
By the time the 6th inning ended, Shohei had not allowed a single hit. 6 straight innings of no-hit baseball against a real major league lineup. 6 full innings of close to perfect work on the mound. Most pitchers in that exact moment would be feeling pretty good about themselves. Most pitchers would be smiling between innings. Most pitchers would already be planning how they wanted to celebrate after the win. Shohei Ohtani is not most pitchers, and Wednesday night made that more obvious than ever before. The cameras kept cutting to him in the dugout, and instead of smiling, he looked angry, like genuinely upset, like a guy who had just lost a playoff game instead of dominating a regular season one. Then, the field microphones picked up something nobody expected to hear during one of his best outings of the season. Shohei was on the mound cursing himself out, loud, clear, in the kind of colorful language you would expect from a furious player after a brutal loss. Not from the guy who was actively in the middle of throwing a no-hitter at the time. The broadcast crew had to laugh nervously and move on. People watching at home could literally read his lips when the broadcast cut to a close-up. He was muttering between pitches. He was shaking his head after every walk. He looked like the angriest no-hit pitcher in baseball history, which honestly might be the truest sentence anyone could write about him on this night. The Dodgers broadcasters tried to brush it off at first. They talked about how Shohei is always hard on himself, how this is just his way. Then it kept happening. Inning after inning, the cameras caught more frustration. The mics caught more words that nobody could repeat on a family broadcast. So now, every single person watching had the same question on their mind. What was he so mad about? The Rockies had not gotten a hit. He had 7 strikeouts. He was up on the scoreboard. Why was Shohei Ohtani, the guy in the middle of one of the best two-way performances of the year, acting like the world was ending right in front of him? Here is the truth that makes this whole story even crazier. Shohei had real reasons to be frustrated, even with the no-hit bid going strong. He had walked 4 batters through 6 innings. 4 walks. That is a lot for him. He also hit a batter, which is the kind of mistake that drives him absolutely crazy, especially since he himself had been on the painful end of a hit by pitch less than 24 hours earlier. And the one run that the Rockies actually scored against him came in the most annoying way possible. He gave up a leadoff walk to start the inning. Then he hit the next batter with a pitch. Suddenly, there were 2 runners on base with nobody out, and the inning got messy from there. The Rockies ended up scoring on a couple of weak grounders without ever getting a real base hit. Technically, the no-hit bid was still alive. Technically, Shohei was still doing something nobody had done in over a decade. But to Shohei, that one run was a personal failure. The other thing eating at him was the pitch count. Shohei ended the 6th inning at 99 pitches. 99 through 6 innings is way too many for a guy aiming at a complete game no-hitter. He was burning through pitches because the deep counts kept piling up. 3-ball counts, long at-bats, foul balls, battle after battle. Every batter seemed to take 6 or 7 pitches before either striking out or working a walk. The Rockies were not exactly dominating him at the plate, but they were running up his pitch count by making him fight for every single out. They were doing the next best thing to getting hits. Now, zoom out for a second and think about what this attitude means for the rest of the 2026 season. Shohei sits at a 0.82 earned run average through 9 starts on the year. That is not a typo, 0.82. His whip is also at 0.82. He has 61 strikeouts in 55 innings pitched. He has only walked 17 batters all season long. Those are not normal numbers. Those are video game numbers. And the scariest part of the whole situation is the guy putting up those numbers thinks he can still be better. He thinks the walks should be lower. He thinks the pitch counts should be tighter. He thinks the innings pitched per start should be deeper into games. So every single start, he is grinding on himself to clean up the little stuff. The result is that his stats keep getting better. The competition keeps falling further behind him. And the Cy Young Award, which is the top pitching honor in baseball, is starting to feel like a foregone conclusion this year. They were slowly making sure he could not finish the no-hitter himself. And Shohei knew it. He knew it on the mound, he knew it in the dugout. He knew every time he glanced over at the pitch counter on the scoreboard. The Rockies had taken his shot at history away from him without even getting a hit. And he was furious. After the 6th inning ended, Dave Roberts had to make the call. Shohei was at 99 pitches. He had been hit on the hand by a pitch the night before. He still had a long season ahead of him. The right move was to take him out and trust the bullpen to finish the job. Roberts walked out to the mound, took the ball, and gave the no-hit bid to the relievers. Shohei walked off the field, dropped his glove in the dugout, and sat down looking like somebody just told him his car got towed. Tanner Scott came in to pitch the 8th inning, and with 2 outs, Tyler Freeman of the Rockies slapped a single right back up the middle. No-hit bid over. The game ended 4-1. Dodgers won. Series sweep. 5 wins in a row. By every normal measure, this should have been one of the best nights of the season. Yet Shohei walked off the mound looking like he had just blown a playoff game. After the game, the reporters got to talk to him, and they were really hoping for something positive. They had just watched a historic performance up close. They wanted Shohei to say something memorable about the home run, or the strikeouts, or the no-hit bid he carried for 6 innings. Instead, Shohei kept turning every question back to what went wrong. He talked about the walks. He talked about the run he gave up. He talked about how the pitch count got away from him. He talked about how he should have pitched deeper into the game. Reporters were almost begging him to say the night was special, and Shohei kept pushing back on it. To him, 6 no-hit innings should have been 7, or 8, or 9. The bar inside his own head was higher than what he actually did, and so the night did not measure up. The man was holding himself to a standard nobody else could see. This is where Dave Roberts gave one of the best quotes of the entire season. The manager looked at the reporters and said straight up that the great ones, when they look at 6 innings of no-hit ball, they think it should have been 7 or 8. He said that is what makes guys like Shohei special. They never settle. They never look at a great night and think their job is finished. They look at a great night and find every single thing that went wrong instead. That kind of mindset is rare in any sport. Most athletes, even superstar athletes, allow themselves to enjoy great moments while they are happening. Most athletes know when to celebrate a job well done. Shohei does not seem to have that switch in his brain at all. The switch is broken. The standard is always higher than the result, no matter what the result actually was. That might be the entire reason he has won 4 MVP awards in 5 years. Will Smith, his catcher, also said something honest after the game. He talked about how it is almost unfair watching Shohei work because the guy is wired so differently from everyone else in the clubhouse. Smith pointed out that most pitchers would have walked off the mound after 6 no-hit innings ready to party with the team. Shohei walked off ready to fight himself for failing. Smith called it both inspiring and a little bit scary at the same time. That is the kind of honest admission that tells you everything about what it is like to play behind Shohei every single day. His teammates can see what is happening up close. They can see the standards he sets. They can see the work he puts in before and after games. They can see how he carries himself even after great performances. And it pushes them to be better too. Because if the best player in the entire league is never satisfied, the rest of the team cannot afford to settle either. Compare this attitude to other elite pitchers around the league for a second. When most aces throw 6 no-hit innings, they post a clip on social media after the game with some kind of fun caption. They give interviews where they talk about how locked in they were. They thank their catcher. They thank their defense. Some of them even do little celebrations in the dugout while it is happening. There is nothing wrong with any of that, by the way. Pitchers should enjoy great nights when they have them. But Shohei is operating on a completely different level mentally from the rest of the league. He is not chasing highlight clips. He is not chasing recognition from the media. He is chasing perfection inside his own head. And perfection in Shohei's mind looks like 9 no-hit innings, 0 walks, 15 strikeouts, and a complete game shutout. Anything short of that gets filed away as a missed chance and nothing more. Shohei has never won a Cy Young award before, by the way. 4 MVPs already, but no Cy Young trophy to go with them. That gap in his trophy case is something he clearly wants to close in a serious way. And if you watch his face on the mound, you can tell he knows he is right there, within reach. He just has to keep going. He just has to keep grinding. He just has to keep refusing to settle for less. The MVP chase is also in full swing for him this season. He has won 3 years in a row already in 2 different leagues. If he wins again in 2026, he ties Barry Bonds as the only player ever in baseball history to win 4 straight MVP awards. Bonds did it from 2001 to 2004 with the Giants. Nobody else has come close to that streak. Shohei would join that exclusive list, and he would do it as a two-way player, which Bonds never had to deal with at all. The bigger lesson coming out of this whole night is that Shohei Ohtani is built different from the rest of the league. The guy is not chasing trophies anymore at this point in his career. He is chasing some private standard inside his own head that nobody else can see. He showed up Wednesday night, hit a leadoff homer on the 3rd pitch he saw, threw 6 hitless innings, struck out 7 batters, helped his team sweep the Rockies, and walked off the field furious with himself. Same week, he carried a no-hit bid that most pitchers go entire careers without sniffing. Same week, his team moved into sole possession of first place in the National League West. Same week, he extended one of the best pitching seasons baseball has seen in years, and he was mad about it. Genuinely, visibly, audibly mad on live broadcast television for the whole world to see. That right there is the Shohei Ohtani difference in a nutshell. So, the next time somebody tries to argue that Shohei has gotten lucky, or that the Dodgers built the team around him, point them to Wednesday night. Point them to the field mics catching him cursing himself out on the mound. Point them to the post-game interviews where he refused to enjoy his own historic performance. Point them to Dave Roberts saying the great ones are never satisfied. That is what real greatness looks like in baseball. Not flashy celebrations, not loud highlight reels for social media. Just one guy who refuses to settle for anything less than the best version of himself every single time he steps on the field. The Rockies got swept, the Dodgers won 5 in a row, and Shohei walked off the best night of his pitching season looking like he had just lost. Welcome to the Shohei Ohtani experience right here on this channel. So, the next time somebody tries to tell you Shohei is just having a good year, send them this clip. The man threw a near no-hitter and got mad at himself for it. That is the mindset of a real legend. Hit that like button, subscribe for more Shohei content, and let me know in the comments what you think.